The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is reported that Caitlin Clark will officially be signing a $28 million signature shoe deal with Nike. The deal is reportedly worth about $3.5 million a year over the span of 8 years. This is all according to the Associated Press. So let's get to that article. All right, so Caitlin Clark to sign a new Nike deal valued at $28 million. Deal valued at $28 million over 8 years, report says. Caitlin Clark appears to be on the cusp of setting another record. The most prolific scorer in NCAA history and the #1 overall pick in the WNBA draft will continue her association with Nike by signing a $28 million contract that spans 8 years and includes a signature shoe. The Wall Street Journal and The Athletic reported the pending deal, citing unnamed people familiar with negotiations between the sportswear giant and Clark's agents. Excel Sports Management, which represents Clark, declined to comment. Nike did not immediately respond to requests for comments from the Associated Press. Clark's initial name, image, and likeness deal, signed in 2022, expired at the end of the 23-2024 season. The new deal would be the richest sponsorship contract for a women's basketball player ever. Under Armour and Adidas also participated in contract discussions with Clark's team in February, according to the Wall Street Journal and The Athletic. Puma also showed some interest but walked away when told the bidding would start at $3 million per year, according to the Wall Street Journal. Clark received offers of $16 million over 4 years from Under Armour and $6 million over 4 years from Adidas, with both including a signature shoe, according to the Wall Street Journal. Clark earned about $3 million in NIL money at Iowa with deals she has had with State Farm, Gatorade, and others, according to On3.com. Clark's agents were working on the new Nike contract even before she announced she would turn pro instead of returning to Iowa for a 5th season under COVID-19 exemptions offered to players in college during the 2020 pandemic season. After averaging 31.6 points per game and leading the Hawkeyes to a 2nd straight national championship game, Clark was drafted #1 by the Indiana Fever on April 15th. She'll earn around $76,000 a year as a rookie. She's been the main driver for the dramatic uptick in women's basketball interest with her mix of deep three-point shots, flashy thread-the-needle passes, and overall court presence. A women's basketball record, 18.9 million viewers watched Iowa's loss to South Carolina in the NCAA title game, and a WNBA record 2.45 million watched the draft. Okay. So, now, of course, this is great news for Clark and the Clark family, and great news for the WNBA and women's basketball in general. However, there are certain groups of people who are losing their shit over this deal. That's right. The strong independent queens and the woke black men who simp for them are extremely sick right now. Here's an article from Yahoo Sports written a couple days ago that'll give you a good idea of exactly what I'm talking about. Let's get to that article. It says, no black WNBA players have a signature shoe. Here's why that's a gigantic problem. In October of 2023, after Game 1 of the NBA Finals, Las Vegas Aces coach Becky Hammon was asked a question. Does star player A'ja Wilson deserve her own signature shoe? Hammon's response was one of incredulity. You think? She said. You don't need my thoughts. You already know my thoughts. Then she gave her thoughts. She needs her own shoe, Hammon said. She is the 2-time MVP. I'll toot her horn because she won't. Olympic gold medalist, best defensive player 2 years running, her team's success, stop. Wilson's pedigree goes even beyond what Hammon described. She's been in the league since 2018. She's a 2-time champion, won the MVP twice, and is a 5-time All-Star. She's an Olympian, FIBA World Cup MVP, Wilson won a championship at South Carolina and was a player of the year there. She's so revered in her home state that there's a statue of her outside the arena. Wilson also just made the Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world list. Oh, she's a New York Times bestselling author. Wilson is one of the greatest stars of our time. Any athlete of her caliber should already have a signature shoe. It is the order of things. In fact, it should have happened years ago. It would be like if you made signature shoes for Vulcans and you didn't give one to Spock. Okay. In due time, Wilson said. Let me stop right there. Because I don't really like the argument that this article is trying to make. So, first of all, shoe deals are based on your ability to be able to sell them. So, Aja Wilson could be the greatest person to ever walk the face of the earth. But if she's not marketable and if she's not going to be able to sell millions of pairs of sneakers, then it's not a shoe company. It's not in any shoe company's interest to give her a signature shoe. Caitlin Clark, as I stated in the article earlier, got 18.9 million viewers. 2.4 million people watched the WNBA draft. So that's 18.9 million watching the women's Final Four tournament. And you got 2.45 million watching the WNBA draft. That's never happened before, ever. So if anybody could sell sneakers, it's going to be Caitlin Clark, because she's proven that there's a major interest in her. Let's get back to the article. She says, a lot of players don't get signature shoes, so for people to say I should or demanding that I get one, I'm blessed to be in that situation. So in due time, we'll see. I like her. Sounds like a real humble person. She's not taking herself too seriously. That was last year. It hasn't happened yet. It likely will, but the fact it hasn't happened yet is absolutely disgraceful. But there's something even worse occurring. Wilson's lack of a signature shoe is getting a fresh look because Caitlin Clark is expected to get a signature shoe in the near future. If she does, Clark would join only 3 other WNBA players with signature shoes: Breanna Stewart, Elena Del Don, and Sabrina Ionescu. You may notice a pattern there. In a majority black league, there are currently no black players with signature shoes. There have only been 12 players in the history of the WNBA with their own signature shoe. In the past, almost every signature shoe from 1995 to 2011 belonged to a black woman. The fact that only white women hold the power of the signature shoe now, as the WNBA enters its most high-profile and prosperous phase, shows how black women are being ignored in a league that they dominate.
Now I told your ass, if you want something slow and green, you better get you a turtle, ho.
Now, that makes absolutely no sense. So the article states that the WNBA, all the WNBA players with signature shoes from 1995 to 2011 were black. All of them. All of them. Now they want to turn around and make the same argument that it's racist that the only 3 players with signature shoe deals right now are white that are in the WNBA. That makes no sense, because out of the 12 players who have had signature shoe deals in the WNBA, the majority of them were black. The majority of them were black. So, I mean, this argument makes no sense. So basically, it's okay for the league to only give, it's okay for the shoe companies to only give black players shoe deals from 1995 to 2011, but it's not okay for recent times for the shoe companies to do the same with white folks. Makes no sense. Let's continue the article. All right, so stardom propels shoe deals, but also shoe contracts like a signature shoe drive stardom. If you believe the only reason 3, and likely soon 4, white women are getting the shoes because they just happen to be more marketable, well, you're a fool. Wilson didn't make Time's list because she isn't marketable and doesn't have visibility. She made it because she has copious amounts of both. But once again, the Time magazine is not selling sneakers. Making Time magazine is completely different from trying to sell sneakers. I'm pretty sure, and here's the stupidity behind this. I'm pretty sure if Nike thought that Aja Wilson would sell them millions of pairs of shoes, they would sign her. They would sign her. Nike has signed tons and tons of black people to shoe deals. Their biggest shoe deal ever was Michael Jordan, who's a black man. Hell, Nike even signed Kanye West. Okay? So what are we talking about here? They're making an argument where there isn't one. They're making an argument where there isn't one. All right, and that's it for that article. I'm not going to read that whole thing. So like I said, as you can see, the continued success of Caitlin Clark is pretty much exposing how racist and illogical the strong, independent queens and the woke black mafia crowd really are. I mean, it's just constant hate. I don't know what else you can call it. It's constant hate. I mean, these people have turned something as harmless as basketball into an all-out race war. A race war that they'll never win, by the way, because at the end of the day, all the money goes to you-know-who anyways. For example, let me give you an example of the hate. Here's former NBA player Steven Jackson throwing shots at Gayle King for simply giving Caitlin Clark her props. Granted, I can't stand Gayle King, but she definitely didn't deserve this shit from Steven Jackson. Let's get to it.
So, Gayle King supposed to be somebody that's big in the journalism space, right? And I don't consider her black leader. Y'all give her all these passes because she's Oprah friend. I don't give a fuck who friend she is. I don't do nothing for nobody. But you cannot demean Dawn Staley like that. You talking to her about winning the championship, about going undefeated, and you have the nerve to get on there and say, well, we was rooting for Caitlin Clark and you broke everybody's hearts. Who is we? Who is we? All the black people I know was rooting for Dawn Staley. We all fans of Caitlin Clark, but the way you put it, that shit was trash. Yeah, I'm glad it's a new day in the media space. You know what I'm saying? Because you so intelligent, you don't even say stuff like that to somebody on the interview. You just demeaned her and made it about Caitlin Clark. That's trash.
All right, so let's stop right there. So first of all, Gayle King did not demean Dawn Staley. She did not demean her. All she did was make a comment basically saying that people were rooting for Caitlin Clark, and she made the upset. That's all she said. Second of all, Gayle King did not state that she was speaking for all black people. She never made that statement. She never made the statement that she was speaking for all black people. She was speaking for herself and probably the media. Because if you think about it, the media are the ones who's pushing Caitlin Clark. And Gayle King works for the media. So I don't know. I don't understand where Steven Jackson is coming from, man. But like I said, man, we're totally obsessed with race. We're totally obsessed, and it's getting old. Now, surprisingly, Clark is getting the most hate from former WNBA stars. Now, here are a few examples in this video from, what's the name of this YouTube channel? I got this clip from the Black Top Buckets YouTube page, so go to their page, check them out. We're going to use their video. I'm going to show you just some of the hate that she's been getting from former WNBA players, former WNBA stars, and also from members of the black media.
Let's get started.
What do you think about Ice Cube and the Big Three offering Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in their league?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. But the first one is...
And just in case you didn't know, this is former WNBA player Lexi Brown.
So you offer the contract to a player who's not yet even in the WNBA. Big Three does not happen during overseas season. So that doesn't make sense.
That's true.
And then for us to get just constantly shit on Like, you can't even acknowledge the growth and how amazing the WNBA is doing because shit like this happens. You didn't even have to bring up the W. If you're gonna say that it's for that, then stand on that. But I don't think it's, I think he's trying to make a business decision, which he's a businessman, that makes sense. But to mask it in this, I want to uplift and support WNBA players and women athletes is kind of a cop-out, I think, and I don't think.
Look at the hate. I'm sure if she was offered $5 million to play in the Big Three, she would do it right now. I guarantee you she would do it right now. But this is just the hate that they have. And you see this all the time. Anytime it's found out that a black man dates outside of his race, then you get all these black women coming out of nowhere talking about he hate his mama and all this other shit. Nah, we're not tied to have to do anything for you. Besides, this is about business and this is about basketball. And Caitlin Clark is the best basketball player as far as women are concerned. So if I'm Ice Cube, of course I'm gonna shoot my shot at her. But black women don't take it like that. They don't take it like that.
It really makes any sense.
Right away, we have Lexi Brown hating on Caitlin Clark's $5 million offer from Ice Cube to join the Big Three. Just like we have talked about in previous videos, the best doesn't always get paid the most. Caitlin Clark got that huge offer because she brings in a massive audience that no one in the WNBA could bring in.
Exactly, and that's what I said earlier when we were reviewing the article. The audience that she's bringing in is crazy. So, of course, I'm going to offer her $5 million. All right, let's get to Sheryl Swoopes' comments. Let's go.
You're going to break a record. To me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record? Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be. Let's also talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Like, you should be killing them.
Yeah.
So first of all, this is definitely hate. Caitlin Clark is not 25 years old. Caitlin Clark just turned 22. She just turned 22. So right there, that's cap right there. But look at the hate. Look at the hate in her eyes that she has for this woman, man. Listen to the vitriol in her voice.
Because you've been doing it a lot longer than they have. Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
Sheryl Swoopes told 3 big lies in her statements about Caitlin Clark. The first is how many years she played college basketball, implying that she played 5 years because of COVID. In reality, she's played 4, just like Kelsey Plum, and she even broke the record in less games.
It's crazy how they just get on here and say anything. That's what a lot of people, that's what people don't get. And I think Minister Japp said this a while ago. The most racist people, or the most racist group of people in the United States of America is definitely black women. And I'm not saying that to shit on all black women, but if you just look at the type of shit they say and look at the type of shit they do anytime white women are brought up. Or let you be a white man, right? Or a white person on social media and comment on anything that black people are talking about. They're gonna light your ass up in the comments. They're gonna call you all types of mayonnaise. They're gonna call you all type of snow bunny cat. They're gonna call you all type of things in reference to your race. But let a white person remotely try to refer to you in your race. It's the end of the world.
The second lie is how many shots a game Caitlin Clark takes, saying she takes 40 shots a game. Over the course of her career, Clark has only shot 19 shots a game, which is less than half of what Swoopes said. And finally, Swoopes said that Caitlin Clark is 25 years old, when in reality, She's only 22. Sheryl would then make a response after being called out for lying.
I'm gonna say this, and then I wanna be done with this whole conversation. So for people to come at me and...
Don't you just hate that attitude, man? I'm gonna be done with this whole conversation. Oh, man. That attitude, man. Then you sit back and wonder why nobody wants to deal with you. Look at this attitude. You dead wrong and you got an attitude. You told 3 big lies about this woman. And you got an attitude because you got checked and because you're wrong.
Say that I made those comments because I'm a racist. First of all, black people can't be racist. But that's...
Woo! Black people can't be racist. You see how we just make fools of ourselves on a regular basis. That's like some of the most racist shit you could say. Black people can't be racist. That makes no sense.
The farthest thing from my mind. I grew up in a very small West Texas town, predominantly white. My best childhood friend is white. So it's important.
My best friend is black.
For me that I speak up for people that look like me. It's Black History Month. So our ancestors fought and died for us to have opportunities that we have today. I have no issues with Caitlyn. Her breaking the record, I think obviously is a tremendous accomplishment. Although, we could get into that discussion also.
You already had that discussion and you made up 3 points that weren't true. So maybe you don't want to get into this discussion. Maybe you don't.
Because there was a big debate on Lynette Woodard having the actual record.
I'm not really sure what any of that had to do with her lying, and I like how she still insists that Caitlin Clark shouldn't have the record she legitimately broke. I know she hasn't played in the WNBA, but our last hater is Jemele Hill. During an interview, Jemele Hill made multiple claims against Clark, saying that the women's basketball audience would be growing with or without Clark, also mentioning that Clark is only getting so much attention because she's white.
That the criticism is often very one-sided. Caitlin Clark talks her shit. Caitlin Clark is demonstrative. Caitlin Clark, people aren't bothered by that. People aren't bothered by it because they're caught up in the narrative of, oh, here's this, wonderful, kind soul from the great state of Iowa representing middle America. So they put all these what happens in these sports race wars is everybody projects their own shit on the people coming.
So there we have it. To wrap this up, this just goes to show you how short-sighted the strong, independent queens can be. See, instead of shitting on this girl, y'all need to help prop her up. Caitlin Clark is in a position to do what no human being on the planet has ever been able to accomplish. And what's that? Actually producing relevant ratings for the WNBA. But they don't see it like that because unfortunately, a lot of people in the black community have been brainwashed into being obsessed with race. So, on that note, I'll end this show with a quote from Booker T. Washington from way back in 1911. Now, it's crazy how accurate this statement still is today, but here it is. There's another class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, Booker T. Washington. Look, whether you agree, you disagree, or you're indifferent, do me a favor. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and select all. For myself and the rest of the crew here at Trippin Aint Easy TV, peace out. Catch you on the next one.